Okay.
Pull the hair out.
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad for a man.
A little hair. We could probably braid those hairs. Look how long those hairs
Nice
are.
toenails, though.
Okay.
He's not picking them or
Yeah,
nothing.
they're
That's
clean
good.
and they're trimmed. Okay, here we go. First one is lumbricals, right? Where do you palpate for it? Where? Look at your little notes. Ball of the foot. I'm going to ask the patient to do what? All right. The MTPs are the toe knuckles, right here. Curl your toes. Those are your MTPs right there. So now I have to translate to the bottom side. Okay, there's the ball of Ben's foot. Okay, that's the ball of his foot. So I'm going to ask Ben to curl his toes. Okay, go ahead, Ben, curl. I'm going to give a little resistance. Curl them against me. There we go. And I'm going to palpate right at the ball of his foot. And I'm going to search around in there and try to find the tendon. Now, relax. The ball of your foot is a solid, calloused material, right? Because you push off of it with every step you take. So it's thick. Okay? So you can't palpate it like this. No, you poke in there to find it. Okay? So again, Ben, curl your toes. I'm going to give him a little resistance going the opposite direction. And I'm going to palpate right in there. And like I told you guys about the tendons, run your finger across the tendons. So you can feel boom, 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 boom.
Guitar string.
Guitar strings, a tire going over a speed bump, whatever you want to describe it as. Okay. What's next? Flexor hallucis brevis. Hallucis means big toe. I'm going to palpate this one out.
Underneath the big toe.
Which joint? MTP. So I got to find the knuckle. So I'm going to be kind of close to the same place, but I'm going to be more aligned with the big toe this time. So I'm going to ask him, Ben, curl your big toe like that. Okay. I'm going to give him a little resistance here, and I'm going to get right where that knuckle is, right there. I can feel the tendon right there. Okay, so I'm just above, just slightly above the ball of his foot. Relax. That tough part of the foot right there, I'm just above it in that crease, right where the joint is. Because I will feel the tendon as it comes out and attaches right there to pull that toe down. That's where I'm trying to palpate. Right in there. Okay? What's next? Flexor hallucis longus. Where am I going to palpate for this one? The IP. So, that little baby joint right there. So I'm going to ask Ben to curl his toe as much as he can. His big toe. My fingertip is going to go right underneath that IP joint. Right in that crease. And I'm going to, again, side to side, try to feel for that tendon. Right there it is. I can feel it. Okay? Just go side to side there. Okay? Next.
Flexor digitorum longus.
Flexor digitorum longus. All right, so I'm switching my view now from the big toe to the digits. Okay, where am I palpating?
Distal interphalangeal.
It's the longest, right? So it has to go all the way to the end. Okay? So I need to give him some resistance. It is a flexor, so he's going to curl his toes. Here's his DIP. There's the joints right there. PIP and DIP. Okay, so the big toe, just like the thumb, it only has two parts, two phalanges. All the other toes, even this little baby one over here, it has a little tidbit right there on the end. Proximal and distal. Okay, proximal and distal. Proximal and distal. Proximal and distal. Okay, for the flexor digitorum longus, I'm going to palpate at the distal end. So I'm going to go right up under that joint, and I'm going to ask Ben to curl his toes. Come on, Ben. There you go. Oh, that's it. Now I can feel it. It's hard to make that distal one curl, isn't it? Okay? Right there, right underneath the joint. Flexor digitorum brevis, I'm going to move my finger down to the next, not to the MTP down here, but to the PIP right there. Okay? And again, give him a little resistance and run my finger right across there. Okay, and again, I'm doing the same thing, running my finger. I know that the tendons here have to run like in a line like that, right? So I'm going to run my finger across, side to side, to feel them. Okay? Next.
Extensor digitorum longus.
All right, extensor digitorum longus. They're going to do extension of the toes. All right, Ben, extend your toes. You see those bowstrings right there? Those are extensor digitorum longus. Right there. Those are the tendons. Okay, so you guys can palpate the tendons on that. So you ask your patient to extend their toes. Make sure they don't cheat by dorsiflexing the foot. Okay, extend the toes, and you give some resistance. And you should see the tendons pop up. Usually the last 3 toes pop up the best. Okay.
Extensor digitorum brevis.
All right, so this time I'm going to turn his foot just a little bit toward inversion. I don't know if I told you guys that before. Just a little bit toward inversion, and extend your toes. You see that big bulk of muscle right there? That's the extensor digitorum brevis. That's the muscle belly of it right there. Okay, so if you draw extensor digitorum brevis, have him invert his foot just a little bit, extend the toes, and then you palpate right there, right on the muscle belly. So that is the only one of those toe muscles that I'm looking for palpation of a muscle belly. All the others, I'm looking for palpation of tendons. Okay. Next.
Extensor hallucis longus.
Okay, so my attention turns back to the big toe, right? Ben, extend your toe. Right there. That's the tendon. It's the prominent tendon on the big toe. So he's pulling up. I'm giving a little, I don't even have to give resistance. It's right there. Okay.
Plantar aponeurosis.
Okay, plantar aponeurosis, Sherry. Right there.
Like in the arch.
Yes. Palpate between the ball and the heel. So inside the arch area. Okay? Yes, have them lying like this.
I like to get
Position like this. Okay. So plantar aponeurosis. Okay, Achilles tendon. Right there. You can palpate the Achilles tendon the same way. You can have him do the same technique as palpating the gastrocnemius. So stand on the tiptoes, and if you draw Achilles tendon, instead of palpating up there on the muscle, you palpate down there by just above the heel, and you can follow the gastroc up to where it
So we can do the
widens out.
standing? Okay.
Yep. Remember, for those standing ones, gastroc, soleus, potentially the Achilles tendon, put a gait belt on your patient. Okay? Even if they're not going to lose their balance, it's there if they were to. If you were in a clinic and your CI, your clinical instructor, asks you to go and palpate somebody's Achilles tendon, you put a gait belt on them. If the patient falls, you will have something to grab onto. Okay? You're not going to be trying to hold the patient and find the thing like this and be all over the place, because that's going to make you unsafe and have poor body mechanics. But it's there. Because here's what will happen. Let's say you have a patient that falls. You don't put your gait belt on the patient. You have a patient that falls. They bump their head, they get a bleed or heaven forbid, something worse, the first thing the attorney is going to ask you is what precautions did you take? And if you don't put a gate belt, you don't have an answer. Aside from saying, I let them hold on to the table.